Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new webinar. We're here with attorney Ruby Powers from Powers Law Group, and we're going to talk about the U visas, the victims of criminal activity. So Ruby, she's a board certified immigration and nationality attorney. She has been licensed since 2008, and she founded the firm in November of 2009. So Ruby, the word is yours.
Thank you, Maria. So the U visa came out around 2008, 2009, and around the time I became licensed, and it took a little while to get some of the regulations and the details. But there's only 10,000 visas available every year. The whole point of it was to be able to encourage immigrants to work with law enforcement, not to be afraid to come up with details, to report crimes, and that was the gist and the reason and the why behind it. And so it's a visa for victims of certain crimes who suffered physical or mental abuse and assisted the authorities or were available to assist authorities in investigation or prosecution of the criminal activity. So you need to be a victim of one of these particular crimes, or it could be an indirect victim, actually. If you've suffered substantial physical or mental abuse as a result and have information about the criminal activity. If you're under 16 or unable to provide info due to a disability, a parent, a guardian, or next friend may possess information about the crime on your behalf. So the qualifying criminal activities, the ones that we see the most would be more aggravated assault or the felonious assault, or aggravated robbery, domestic violence. We've seen some of the other ones, including like stalking, kidnapping, some other things. It's important to note that other related crimes gives room for interpretation of that it could be something similar, but not exactly on point with the wording that's listed here. And so that's something to always consider when you're requesting it. You see trafficking here. If you're at a point where you're between a U visa and a T visa, you would definitely want to go the T visa route for most cases, just due to the speed and availability of the processing, unless there's something else that would make you regarding like which relatives can be included. But for the most part, these are some of the crimes we see the most victims of. One thing I've noticed from a lot of my work is that many people don't report crimes. And that's quite unfortunate because they would have been eligible otherwise. And so some of the evidence would be usually it's police reports for the most part. And then that gives us more details as to how to find more information and who to reach out to. But there can be a lot of different ways that you can prove that up. But for the most part, we see a lot of police reports. So the first step would be to request for the certification. And that one is Supplement B, and that's signed by authorized official of the certifying law enforcement agency. They must confirm that you were helpful or currently being helpful or will likely be helpful. And then there's a personal statement and an evidence establish each eligibility requirement. So the first part, we have a consult, we evaluate, we see whether or not the individual appears to be eligible, and then we get hired for just the certification part first, and then submit the request. We've helped individuals from all over the country, North Carolina, all over Texas, like Michigan area, like California, like all over. This is the process is different depending on where you're applying, and so even just navigating that can be a little more complex. Some locations are a little bit more strict about how long you can wait, and some are not. Some locations have no idea what a U visa is, and so you might have to teach them, or we've had to teach them a little bit. So it does help having an immigration attorney assist you through the process. So once the certification happens, that's only good for 6 months. So you want to move forward as quickly as possible. So there's no chance of that being expired. If you're the principal and you're under 21, you can petition for spouse, children, parents, and unmarried siblings under age of 18. But if you're 21 and up, you can only include your spouse and children. And so this is this is just something to consider of how lenient this program can be as to who you can include in your applications. So once it is granted, it's valid for 4 years, but you can get an extension. While it is pending, it can take, right now there's estimates of about 15 years. You can get a bona fide work authorization determination, work authorization. That was something that happened a couple of years ago, so that you could apply for work authorization initially under the bona fide determination category. And then that would allow you to have work authorization while you're waiting for the visa to become current, which could take quite a long time. Now, it depends on when you filed. If you filed, 7 or 8 years ago, it's probably already current, for example, but it really depends because there's only 10,000 visas available every year, and there has been an increase in the applications. So another thing to note is that you can apply through consular processing as well. You don't have to be here in the country, or maybe the principal's here and there's a relative that's abroad. So there's no limit to the derived family members. And once the limit is reached, US creates a waiting list and they wait for the new visas to become available, which is the new fiscal year, which is October 1st of every year. Now they're able to get that deferred action bona fide finding work authorization. And yeah, I mean, it can be a really great opportunity. One thing that I want to mention, that under the Trump administration, they came up with a policy saying that while a visa is pending, that doesn't prevent you from being deported. Under Biden, that was not the policy. This was a way to be safe in the US and not be deported. We anticipate Trump going back to that policy of that U visa pending doesn't protect you or prevent you from being deported, but we don't know if that's going to be official or not. So I would just say, in conclusion, there's a lot of people who've been victims of crime. A lot of people often don't even report it, unfortunately. Please, if this resonates, we're also going to do this in Spanish. Give a call. Maybe somebody is eligible for this. Definitely have them check this out. And we have a lot of experience in this space. We've helped a lot of individuals, and we want to be a resource for you. And we have a lot of exciting programming for the rest of the month. And so stay tuned for the rest of our webinars. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you.